The BS Report is a free-flowing conversation that occasionally touches on mature subjects.
First of all,
This is the BS Report with Bill Simmons.
it might be cool, I don't know. And if it's not, I don't care.
The BS Report with Bill Simmons.
Bill Simmons works for ESPN. He's also named the sports guy, and he writes a comical sports column. He must be a popular dude.
The BS Report.
It's got a real dirty sound, like a rusty steak knife cutting through a well-aged steak.
Now.
Here's Bill Simmons.
Welcome to the BS Report, a chilly but sunny Monday here in Southern California. On the phone, as always on Mondays, our friend Cousin Sal, and he's licking his wounds as usual after another devastating Cowboys loss. This one actually, I think you can build from this one a little bit, Cousin Sal. We should mention you on the Subway Fresh Take Hotline, but you couldn't have been that depressed after that game, right?
No, and it's funny, like, I didn't watch with you because I figured there's really no upside to that. But I did watch another big Pats fan, Dickie Barrett, our friend, who's an announcer on Jimmy Kimmel Live, Mighty Mighty Boss Tones lead singer. I'm going to drop a few names during this call, probably talk about the bass player from Squirrel Nut Zippers, too, but... and at the end of the game, he was like, wow, you seem to have gotten over it. And I said, what am I going to do? I didn't think we were going to win. Did you guys think you were going to lose? Did you think you were going to lose that game? You didn't really think you were going to lose, right?
I wanted them to punt with, 4 minutes left because I thought, I really did think they would be afraid to take any real chances with Romo. We'd shut him down, and then Brady would do his thing. But I thought it'd be a field goal. I didn't think they'd score a touchdown.
Yeah, and the defense was playing like they would give up the field goal, too. I mean, lights out the whole game, and I never thought we had it. So I know that's a cop-out of the statement. I know that's what no one wants to hear. But on the scale of agonizing losses for the Cowboys, this was a 3, I would say. Sadly enough.
Is it possible, no, I haven't heard anybody mention this, because it seemed like they were super-duper careful with Romo yesterday, and the natural inclination is to say, oh, it's because they don't want him to screw up again. Is it possible he's just hurt and they're being careful with him?
I mean, he could be. I do think a lot of it has to do with what the media has done to Romo, and probably Jason Garrett saying we can't let Romo blow this game no matter what. And as a fan, I'm like, oh, thank God Romo didn't really blow this game. But I hate Jason Garrett for it. I mean, he couldn't have put together a better drive at the end of the first half, leaving the Patriots. Yep. When did the Patriots ever take a knee going into the half? You could be anywhere on the field with any time left, and it doesn't happen. And it was just perfect. And conversely, what was it, almost 4 minutes left? You got two guys blitzing up the middle, and we run our second-string running back, DeMarco Murray, right into the gut on first and second down, as if it matters if Brady has 3 minutes left or 1:20 left with timeouts or no timeouts. I mean, that's a good. When you see the clock ticking at 3:10, 3:09, and Patriots aren't calling timeout, that's what you know. They have you right where they want you.
Yeah.
Terrible.
And I think to go for the jugular, as Jerry Jones was talking to Yahoo's Michael Silverday, he was complaining they didn't go for the kill. I think that's fine, but if you go for the kill with a play action and Romo rushes a pass and throws an interception, now you have a tsunami of Romo vitriol that whole week, and I just felt like maybe they didn't think it was worth it. And also, maybe he's still hurt. He still seems hurt to me.
Yeah,
we don't know. He does not seem 100%, that's for sure.
I mean, I see Jay Cutler throw all the way downfield. I see a bunch of guys. He just doesn't go downfield. And he's got a monster of a receiver in Des Bryant. He's hurt and he's skittish, and, he manages the game well. But the play calling just gets me sick. You don't have to pass. You could do a ball control, kill the clock sort of offense there with 3.5 minutes left. Bootleg him out and let him run for 3 yards. You don't, if you pitch it left or pitch it right to DeMarco Murray, it doesn't necessarily mean he's going to go out of bounds. Just get away from the middle. I mean, I couldn't believe how easily telegraphed those last couple plays were.
It's the little stuff, because you also had 4 special teams penalties, which is never a good number. And then you look at it's really hard to figure out this Niners thing, because they were down 10-0 in Detroit, and I thought that was it. Because you're down 10-0, now you have to throw the ball to get back in the game. This is where you'll get exposed. Nope, they kept running Frank Gore, And, the big thing with them, and we saw it with the Bears a little bit last night too, is the special teams. The Niners just have great special teams.
Yeah.
And when you look at like a team like Dallas that makes 4 special teams penalties, and you look at a team like the Niners that their punter is just consistently pinning Detroit, and on top of that, Ginn is making like 2 plays a game now. It really is worth like 10 points.
It is, and you watch the Jekyll and Hyde Bears, and I don't know what they need to get rid of that rule where you have to kick to Devin Hester. Like what? Yeah. Why in this day and age is it so? And also on a kickoff, there's no excuse. Like these should be sailing out of the end zone anyway from where we're kicking off.
Well, Minnesota has their national TV streak alive of giving up a kick return touchdown in every televised game at night since like 1981. It was a foregone conclusion.
Yeah.
The most interesting game yesterday was Saints-Bucks, which, of course, I lost money on. I don't know if you joined because I had the Saints in a 3-teamer. And this is really weird, and I don't mean to make an excuse because it does sound like one, but Peyton getting hurt changed that game.
It sure did.
Your head coach, he calls every offensive play, and he basically gets his leg wiped out. He's got a broken kneecap and a torn MCL. And he's on the sidelines, and everybody's looking around at each other like, uh-oh, what do we do on offense? And their offense just falls apart. It was almost worse than losing your quarterback.
Absolutely. And I think we're going to see in the future, like, teams going after opposing coaches. Why not?
That's a great idea.
Especially since these coaches are shaking hands, they're fighting after their games. Like, the coach is a major element of the game. And that's why I never thought the Saints could go far, because I don't think Sean Payton has the endurance to stand up on the sidelines.
To stay in the sidelines?
Coaches, yeah.
Well, maybe the Niners are in a bye next week, but maybe the week after you just keep running sweeps toward Jim Harbaugh's side until you take him out. Just maybe 10 or 11 in a row until somebody rolls in his knee.
Yeah.
But they fell apart. Like, it was weird watching it because I went from thinking the Saints were going to score 38 points and just dominate that game to thinking, oh, my God, they're actually going to lose this game because they're totally discombobulated. And also, another bad Drew Brees game.
Yeah, I know. I think I anointed him the best third-down quarterback last week on our podcast, and then I don't know what happened to him. Like, guys didn't get open. I don't. These Tampa Bay and Chicago are the weirdest teams in the league. They're actually 4-2 Tampa Bay, and
Cincy too.
This week, but what's that?
Cincy's 4-2 too, right?
Yeah, I know. It doesn't make any sense. I really thought this was the week that everything would settle down and the good teams would win, the bad teams would lose. But I guess
I was worried. I tweeted yesterday. I never felt good about yesterday, and just looking, it just had no feel, and the matchups were weird, and I got killed. I think I went like 3-7-2.
I think we did the same thing. I think we were both 3-7-2.
I just couldn't get a feel for anything, and like even like that Lions game, you just think 10-0. Now, what do we make of the Lions coming out of that game?
Well, I think here's the thing, and like Collinsworth said it last week, they have big plays, and if you're gonna survive the Javid Best bubble screen, as they call it now, or the the Megatron floater to the end zone, I think you have a good shot against them.
Yes.
And it's right. I mean, it doesn't seem like they're a complete team. Like they can hold leads and do things that good teams do.
I think that's a team that could tail off because Best finally got hurt, so you knew that was coming. He gets hurt every year. He got the concussion yesterday. Now their running back situation is in trouble. They also seem like when you watch them, like 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, they're in trouble because the other team just takes away Calvin Johnson. They double team him. So then you basically have Pettigrew or nothing. They don't really have that. I mean, I guess it was supposed to be Nate Burleson, but they don't have that third down guy, the Deion Branch type guy who just gets open for 7 yards.
Yeah.
Which makes me wonder, like, with the Broncos are allegedly offering Eddie Royal around. That seems like somebody that would make sense for Detroit.
Yeah, that's a fire sale for the road. They traded Brandon Lloyd. I don't know if you just saw it like an hour ago.
Oh, who got him?
The Rams, who play the Cowboys this week, of course.
Oh,
of course.
What'd they give up?
You know what? I didn't even look. I think they just gave it to him for nothing. No.
That's pretty interesting. The Rams. Where is that? Where are you seeing that?
Hold on. Let me see. Brandon Lloyd traded to the Rams. How come it
Riveting
doesn't say,
podcast
doesn't
radio.
say how much?
Huh. Oh, yeah, report. So there's no compensation yet, but, man, if anyone needed a deep threat, it's the Rams.
Yeah, but what do they care? Why are they starting trouble now? This is like, they're out of it. They don't need to pick up. This is like the guy that's out of it in your fantasy league and screws up the drop waiver wire and picks up the best player. They do.
Well, they're 0-5. They put up over 400 yards yesterday in Green Bay. They had the first ever deceiving 24-3 loss.
Yeah.
And maybe they feel like their schedule's getting easier. And see, the problem is the Niners are going to go like 13-3 now. 'Cause that's a real team. That defense was great yesterday. I'm sold on them finally.
Yeah, well, I'm sold on them too, but they need to explain to me, and I'm willing to listen, however long it takes, how they lost to the Dallas Cowboys, my team. But otherwise, I'm sold on them. And back to the Lions real quick. All year they've been coming from behind, winning, very exciting. This is what's most troubling. You said they were up 10-0, and they can't hold the lead. Now this is a different side of them. So they're the knuckleball pitcher of the NFL. You don't know. They could throw anything at you, and it's just going to be close down the stretch, I think.
Wasn't a very good game.
No.
Like, Peter King wrote in his column today that it was, that the Harbaugh Schwartz thing marred a great football game. That was not a great football game. I thought that was a pretty ugly game, and I just thought the Lions, you came away from that game thinking that the Lions were not a team that, as positioned right now, is going to do a lot. The Niners are a little more interesting, but I still don't understand. You have a 10-0 lead, how Frank Gore is going to run that kind of yardage at that point.
Yeah, right.
Like, don't you just you try to make Alex Smith beat you at that point, and instead they went the other way. It seemed like, but
absolutely, I think this pass rush should be bigger than it is. I don't know. I don't know. It might be a little bit overrated, and you can run to Dominic Suicide, which we're seeing, but.
Yeah.
But you did bring it up earlier. I don't want to gloss over it. I texted you. I said, listen, let's just do this money line parlay for fake dollars, of course. Pittsburgh, Green Bay, those are winners, easy. Well, Pittsburgh is not so easy. And let's just add the Jets. It's going to happen. You said, no, I don't like the Jets. You wanted to go with the Saints getting 3.5.
I stand by it.
Yeah. Well, you last night you weren't too excited when you called me. Let me just play that.
Because I bet against Josh. I forgot. I got pretty drunk after that.
Hold on, you were drunk. Here it is.
Cousin Sal, sports guy here. I really doggone went and done it this time. I bet against Josh Freeman on a 3-team teaser, taking the Saints getting 3.5 against a team who gave up 150,000 points last week. How could I resist? Anyway, I betrayed the trust between me and Joshy Washy, pudding pop, twinkle toes, fruit roll up, bacon bit, buttocks. I'm no better than Benedict Arnold to this country, or Arnold Schwarzenegger, the way he two-timed his scary-looking Kennedy wife with that 250-pound dust-busting illegal alien housekeeper, or Arnold Jackson from Different Strokes, God rest his puny soul, or any Arnold for that matter. I'll tell you, this may be the worst week of my life. NBA cancels first 2 weeks of games. Theo Epstein flees to Chicago. Then yesterday, I saw a specialist about my Robbie Benson voice. He said there's nothing I can do about it. I'm stuck with it for life, unless I speak into a special talking machine like Stephen Hawking. Now, Joshy Washy Pudding Pop Cinnamon Toast Crunch Nibble Knees isn't talking to me. Hey, Josh, I'm sorry. I'll make it up to you. We can reenact a scene from Deliverance. I'll even let Rufus watch, just how you like it. What? You accept my apology? Woohoo! I'm off to get my banjo. Meet you in the smush room. What a Travis mockery. Sports guy over and out.
The smush room. I liked how you worked that one in that time.
Yeah, it's weird. You take from all different genres.
No sound effects. I stand by being afraid of the Jets. I'm not sure they're good.
I don't care about I just think if you have any faith in Rex Ryan as a head coach, he's got to. I mean, this is pretty much their season, isn't it? Against Matt Moore at home.
It's interesting. There's a lot of rumors going around that whatever that unnamed, the receivers complained about the offensive coordinator, all that stuff. And then they traded Derek Mason like 2 days later for a 7th rounder, and there were rumors that he was the leak.
The rumors that he what?
That he was the one that leaked the stories about the Jets receivers being so unhappy with the offense.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Because we give away somebody for a 7th-round pick? Really?
Yeah.
Like, what is that? I also like Brandon
He
Lloyd.
He might even open the lid on the whole foot fetish thing for a 7th rounder. Now that I think about it.
Brandon Lloyd, like, that guy's a real football player. He can run down the field and make catches. Like, if the Rams got him for a 4th-round pick, that's a trade I make.
Yeah. Yeah, why
and
not?
I guess you're just going for Andrew Luck, just full force if you're making that trade, if you're just giving away your deep threat. But let's do Week 7 lines. We have 6 teams on a bye week this week. My own New England Patriots, Joe Mead's Buffalo Bills, the Cincinnati Bengals, the Giants, the Eagles, and the Niners. Before we go to the lines, though, Joe Mead.
Yes,
He's done.
I'm here.
There he is.
The Bills, that was like a moral victory yesterday, I felt like.
No thanks.
No? You wanted the victory. You didn't want the moral victory.
No. We need one of these victories. I had the Bills at 1-3 against the NFC East, so they already got the 1, and that's getting them to 9-7. So if they should have won that game, then I'd have them at 10-6. That's the playoffs. It's a big loss.
Their defense is really bad, unfortunately. They just can't stop anybody. It's just everybody gets 400-plus yards against them. Even Eli in a 20-mile-an-hour wind seemed pretty confident yesterday, which is a little frightening. But you might get to 10
game.
wins.
I feel like the Giants' luck is back there. What they have it at the 30-yard line with 4 minutes left or something? And throws that pick. Makes me sick.
That was bad.
Yeah, it was disgusting.
That was bad. Can you get to 10 wins?
I think they can. The Redskins are falling apart, so maybe they'll get that second win against the NFC East there.
Well, where do you play these games? Do you have a road win yet? Yeah, you have to have a road win.
There must be.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Got to win on the road.
I'm going to look up the Bills. Who else do you fear getting to 10 wins? The Jets? Oakland? Do you fear Cincinnati's not getting to 10 wins?
No.
So really it's just Oakland and the Jets that are your big competition for 10 wins.
Well,
but I feel like you're going to end up at 9.
Doesn't have a shot, right?
Sal, let's do the Mike and the Mad Dog here.
Go ahead.
Bye week, week 8, home against Washington.
Home against Washington is a win.
Home against the New York Jets.
That is a win.
Next 3, at Dallas, at Miami, at Jets.
At Dallas, a loss. At Miami, a win. What was the last one?
At the New York Jets.
At the New York Jets is a tie.
A tie, wow. Week 13, Tennessee, home.
Tennessee, you got home against that. One of these games is in Toronto, though, right? Have we gotten to that one? That one?
It doesn't say which one.
Tennessee home is a win.
All right. At San Diego, week 14.
At San Diego. San Diego's going to need that game. That is a loss.
Home for Miami and Denver.
They finished up the season with 2 wins. Does that get them to 11, Mikey?
Last week, let me do the Francesa voice. Week 17, New Year's Day, at New England. Pats might be resting their status, dog.
Boy, that's the game, Mike. Good job by you, Mike, reading the names and the weeks. Good job by you. I have to say, that is a win at New England.
Joe Mead, I think you get to 10 wins.
So that's 10. If they beat New England, we figured that would be the 10th.
They could be 9-6 going into that Pats game, and the Pats will have clinched like on Thanksgiving. So with the Pats, they have a checkered history with that Week 17 game. Sometimes they go all out, and other times he just rests everybody. So it'll be interesting.
Well, it seems like the Bills maybe do only have to win their home games the rest of the way. Wow.
It's that Washington game that's the Toronto game.
John Beck. You win that game, Joe Mead.
And
that's a good one to be on the road.
The last time the Bills, I think that Bledsoe year, they were 9-6 heading into the last game, and it was, I believe, the Steelers. I'm probably getting this all wrong. But it was against a team that had already clinched, resting their starters. They still found a way to lose and miss the playoffs. So
I remember that game. I think I bet against them that game. All right, so let's say you split the next 2 weeks. You're at 6-3. And then that at Dallas, at Miami, at New York stretch, I think you win one of those. So now you're at 7-5. And then you still have at Miami, at Denver. I think you win both of those. They'll be both sucking for luck at that point. You're going to be at 9-6 heading into that Week 17 game unless somebody gets hurt.
I think the key is how you handle the Jets. If you split those, you're in good shape. If you dare lose both of them, I think you're going to be done.
I think you have 3 guaranteed wins. Washington, Miami, Denver at home. I think you absolutely win all 3 of those, and then you split the Jets. So then it's just a case of sneaking out somewhere else, somewhere along the line. But, man, Joe Meade, where would that rank? At 9-6, you go against Brian Hoyer. How nervous are you, Week 17?
I don't think I even watch.
You don't watch?
Wow.
Too painful.
Wow, so he may be finding out from us on the Monday morning podcast, New Year's Day, the day after New Year's Day.
So it'd be like, Brian Hoyer threw for 400 yards, and Shane Vereen, in his first start of the year, rushed for 160 yards and 3 touchdowns. That'd be tough. We're rooting for you. I love having the Bills good again. I think it's great.
They're fun.
And what a shame that they have to play.
Who's that?
What a shame that they have to waste a home game in Toronto. Because their home field advantage is massive now.
Yeah. Well, wait a few years from now when it's 4 home games in Toronto. What a shame that's going to be.
Let's do the Week 6 lines, so.
All right. We're tied 3-3. It's actually Week 7 lines. We're tied 3-3. And I pick them, you pick them, whoever's closer wins the week. Washington and Carolina.
Carolina's defense is bad. We found that out yesterday. It's just not a good defense.
Yeah, you could run on them, and Cam let us down. That was his worst game yet.
But they're definitely 3-point favorites over the Redskins.
All right. You got it. I got it. It is 3. It is 3.
And I like Carolina.
Well, something awful happened to Cam Newton, and it's not something you could see from watching your TV. You and I bet him to win Rookie of the Year. We did it, I think, last Monday, and we put that on a hedge with the Niners to win the division and the Patriots to win their division. And it was all looking good, but now let's see. Now A.J. Green will sneak into the picture or something.
Oh, geez. I didn't even think of him.
Yeah.
I'm sure whatever we did, it'll end up being the wrong thing.
Absolutely. Seattle at Cleveland.
I think my verdict's in on Colt McCoy, Sal.
What are you thinking?
I don't think he's good.
Yeah, they're frustrating to watch.
I think
he throws like one ball a game that makes you think, oh, he could be all right. But
yeah, I think his destiny is to be this century's Don Strock.
Ooh.
Yeah, I think he's a guy that is going to be a really good backup that can come in and kind of change the game on a team that has a starting quarterback that gets injured a lot.
Well, that means that if he's Don Strock, it means their next guy is going to be great, right?
Right. Well, I think so. Let's say the Rams. Although it does seem like the Rams are trying to be good. I guess that's.
What are you talking about? The worst teams?
Well, I was going to say they make a play for Bradford if the Rams end up with Andrew Luck, but it really does seem like the Colts should just lock in on that now, right?
Yeah.
Just bang that out, Colts.
I think so, and this week doesn't help. We'll get to their game, but yeah, it doesn't get.
I would trade Reggie Wayne this week too.
Really?
Yeah, because he's older anyway.
They trade their best receiver. Yeah, it could shake it up. Seattle or Cleveland though? Seattle.
Oh, sorry, I said Browns 2.5. I like Seattle's defense.
All right, you're going to get that. I said 4, and it's 3. You got to be pretty bad to give only 3 to the Seahawks at home, but
they have a decent defense, though.
Browns pulled it off. All right, Atlanta at Detroit.
I got full-fledged Vegas zone for this one. Lions by 4.5.
Ah, you got it. I thought I would be able to shake you here. I had 4.5 also, and it's 4.5.
Yeah. I like the Lions.
Well, you got it. They have the grittiest coach in Jim Schwartz. Just the name alone will scare you.
Why didn't he make eye contact with Harbaugh as he was trying to basically fight him?
That was
seen a fight where nobody made eye contact?
I hate to even. This is easily the most overanalyzed NFL story of the year so far. But
yeah.
I almost think Harbaugh didn't see him at first. And if you look at it again, he's like beelining to somewhere else, and then he has to throw that hand in there real quick because he sees Schwartz. He doesn't want to look like an a-hole, and then he ended up being even worse of an a-hole. But do
you think it was one of those things, like he was avoiding a fine So he was running alongside Harbaugh and yelling at him, but not looking at him, because it's like when a baseball hitter yells at an umpire but doesn't look at the umpire, so it's not showing up the umpire.
Yeah, right. Wait for the PR guy to get in between you, and then you because I don't think Harbaugh knew what was going on until like 10 seconds after the shake. So.
I don't think Schwartz should get fined, because I think any man has to stand up for himself at that point on a game that's on national TV when you have 53 football players and 10 coaches that look up to you as your leader, and this guy gives you this handshake backslap thing, like the same way somebody would do like the sloppy seconds handshake to somebody who's now dating his ex-girlfriend. Like,
wow.
I thought that there was real venom to what Harbaugh did, and I thought Schwartz had to stand up for himself.
He was overexcited. He did. Yeah, they shouldn't fine him for it. It's stupid. I don't know why guys are shaking hands anyway after a game. It's like a brutal competition for 3 hours. They don't. It's so phony anyway. Just go off. What are you doing? The NHL playoffs is the same thing.
Let's say we watched Pats Cowboys yesterday, and Brady scores, and I jump up and I'm celebrating, and I come over and give you the obnoxious handshake with the hard backslap. You probably punch me at that point, right?
That'd be it. I'd smack the crap out of you with a Subway sandwich, I think.
Right. It's just Schwartz should not get fined. But let's keep going.
I know, but you know what? I don't know. When he played the Cowboys a couple weeks ago, he went at it with Des Bryant, like screaming at him. I think. Well,
he does seem like a dick.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to like this guy.
He did that. He did. What was it? He yelled at the referee that time, right after the game and won. Even though they won, he was yelling at the refs. Like, I think he's trying to give that team toughness.
Right.
And so when Harbaugh kind of knocked him out of that, he was, I'm the tough guy here. Hey, what are you doing? And then, but if Paul Giamatti hadn't got between them, I really feel like that could have been a real fight.
Yeah, I know. Let it go. That would have been good.
I think Harbaugh wins. I have Harbaugh as like a minus 350 favorite. Harbaugh's a big dude.
Oh, yeah, I think so, too.
Harbaugh he punched Jim Kelly once.
Oh, that's right. He did, right?
Yeah, in 1997. Punched him.
Yeah, he wasn't losing that fight. I don't know.
Jim Kelly was killing him on TV, and he went to the studio and punched Jim Kelly right in the head and broke his hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jim Harbaugh.
Schwartz must have had like a rough Yom Kippur or something. I mean, he was really fired up for that. He wanted him. That was tough. All right, next game, Houston and Tennessee.
Ooh, Houston looks like they're just doing the textbook. Rope you in early, 8-8 finish, or 7-9, whatever. And then Gary Kubiak will come back. Then Gary Kubiak comes back, because it's not his fault ever.
Well, this is it. These are the two division. I mean, this could change it. Not that I think any of these teams will go far when they make the playoffs, but
I'm going to hit this exact. I really like the slate this week, and I feel the opposite about Week 7 than I did with Week 6. I have Titans by 3.
God, you got it. I had 3 exact, and you also have 3 exact out of the first 4. And you're winning. I
thought it was a pretty easy week for guessing the lines. Last week I had a lot of trouble.
Yeah, but this is, I mean, look, these early games, they're fine matchups, but good luck trying to take a teaser out of them.
Right.
San Diego at the Jets.
This I had a little trouble with.
Yeah, me too.
Especially because we don't know what's going to happen in tonight's game. But I had the Jets
I know. You don't know. I know.
Jets by 1.5.
Wow. You got it exactly. Come on. This is fishy now. This really is.
What?
I said 4. And,
can I have a good week?
Huh?
Can I have a good week?
It's actually 1.5.
Here's my reasoning. If the Jets played at the Chargers, I think the line would be Chargers by 6 or 6.5.
Oh, that high, huh?
Yeah. So then there's no way it could have been Jets 3, but I also don't think the Jets are bad enough the Chargers would have been favored.
I think, you know what, I got confused because I'm like, all right, West Coast going to East Coast for the early game, but I forgot to figure in that they had a bye, so that gets thrown out the window, unless they went to, like, Hawaii over the bye week, and then it's really an extra 3 hours. I don't know.
Also, the Niners demolished that whole West Coast, East Coast thing. Maybe it's just the West Coast teams suck.
Yeah.
Maybe when you have better teams, that doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah, that's true. They had a brutal schedule the last 3 weeks, but And conversely, the Chargers are very lucky without even having played. Like the three teams in the division went through quarterback changes. Owners died. I mean, it couldn't be easier for them.
The Oakland thing's a real problem, and this is what David Garrard. This is why I thought he handled it really intelligently. Just kind of waited because you knew like one of these half contenders or real contenders was going to have an injury. And now I think I think they have to sign him and probably have to overpay him a little bit.
I guess they'll sign him, but
can't do Kyle Bowler.
Carson Palmer's off one. No, but I was thinking Terrell Pryor might be a fun option for them. I don't know that the quarterback has to do a ton for the Raiders to win. You know?
Just do Garrard. All you need is like a C minus.
Yeah.
The way they run the ball, it's just somebody who's a C minus who can throw it deep twice a quarter.
That makes the most sense, that signing. All right, Chicago at Tampa Bay. We discussed this. Two Jekyll and Hyde teams. Somehow Tampa Bay's 4-2, tied for the division lead.
I'm probably gonna be off by a half point. I have the Bucks by 3.
All right, that's what I had, and it's the Bucks by 1.5.
Whoa!
How could you even pick this? What do you even do with this game?
Whoa. Shocked by that.
Bucks are better without Blount, and the Bears all of a sudden have an offensive line. I don't know what to make of this thing. I'm staying way.
I liked what the Bears did yesterday with keeping the tight ends in and doing short passes and trying to protect Cutler. I thought it was smart, but I don't know if that's going to work 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
Kind of like the Bucks. The Bucks also, they always have like those cornerbacks that pick passes.
Oh yeah.
I like the Bucks a little bit.
Yeah, I can't. Denver at Miami.
That line settles at 3, for the record.
The Tampa Bay one?
Yeah, that settles at Tampa by 3. Man, this was a really tough one. This is really our first Andrew Luck, for the first pivotal playoff contest in the Andrew Luck sweepstakes. I have the Dolphins by 2.5, not 3, only because of the Tebow factor and the Dolphins suck at home.
All right, we're splitting this because I said 3.5 and it's 3. So the Tebow factor being that people will drive from Gainesville 7 hours.
You have that.
Yeah.
You have that he's not going to tank because it's against his religious beliefs.
Oh right, yeah.
Yeah, you got that. And also, like,
why
Miami.
would he tank anyway? So that another quarterback comes in to compete with him. Yeah.
Right. He's going to try to win. So, What else we got?
That's fun. All right, now we're in the late afternoon game. So, like, what do you? There was not one game over 4.5. I guess Atlanta at Detroit's the best game for those early ones. But
yeah, by default, not a great game though.
That's tough.
I still don't like Atlanta that much.
Kansas City at Oakland. We don't know who the quarterback is, but they for the Raiders, but they do have a line on it.
They do have a line. Interesting.
Yep.
I have Raiders by 6.
All right. I said 5.5, and it's 3.5. So I get that one.
That's the old Kyle Bowler. I should have lowered that. That's stupid. The Chiefs could beat them with Kyle Bowler.
I think the Chiefs can beat that. I think
that's stupid.
Righted the ship, coming off a bye. They could win like 4 games this year, the Chiefs.
Yeah, that's... And it seems like they feel like they're better than having to tank this season. So,
yeah.
And the Rams, obviously, with the Brandon Lloyd trade, they have no interest in tanking this season either. So all of a sudden, this is like basically the Dolphins, the Broncos, and the Colts are our only 3 legitimate tankers.
Well, yeah, if you don't include my Cowboys, yeah, I guess that's only 3. Yeah.
You're not tanking. Yeah. 9 wins is probably going to take your division.
Really? The division?
It could.
I don't know who gets hot. If we beat the Rams, we're 3-3, and the Skins lose. The Skins have to be done, right? Come on.
Could they have beaten the Eagles with a competent quarterback?
Well,
I feel like
they were dying to give that game away. The Eagles were. They still cannot finish a game. It seems like.
Oh, Sal.
Yeah.
I'd like to apologize to the Arizona Cardinals for not including them in the Suck for Luck group.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And Jacksonville, I'm not going to include because I thought they played hard yesterday, and Gabbert's pretty good. That's a team that should just try to win.
I wouldn't pass on Gabbert real quick.
Yeah, I thought he showed a little resilience yesterday.
And I like the fact that he's not cutting his hair until they win. Until he wins, I guess.
All right.
Pittsburgh at Arizona. I like this. I want to take Pittsburgh here. Is this a trap? Well, guess the line first, and then we'll see.
Well, what do we make of Pittsburgh going up 17-0 and then not scoring again at home against Jacksonville? That was a little weird.
They should have been able to push them around. I mean, I know some teams, it's hard for the Packers to get up for the Rams. I mean, Packers didn't score in the second half either. It's
right.
The Steelers, but come on. Get 6 points in the second half, something. Put it away.
This line should be Steelers by 7. But the Cardinals at home are just a wee bit frisky, and I'm going to go Steelers by 6.
Wow, all right. I said 5.5. It's 4. So all of a sudden...
You're beating me now.
No, we're tied.
Wow.
Including ties at 7-7.
Steelers by 4.
But what do you do with that game?
I know what I do. I don't take Kevin Cobb.
The last home game, they should have beat the Giants, and then there was that weird play where he was down, but he wasn't down. I don't know about them at home.
I don't know about the Steelers.
Yeah, Green Bay at Minnesota.
Oof. The Ponder era has begun, it looks like.
Yep.
Packers by 7.5.
Oh, wow. I said 8, and it's 9.
Oh!
I think it opened at 8 and went up to 9 when they announced Ponder, which is weird because, I guess you don't want the rookie going up against that defense right away. But they will go with him, right?
Yeah, I guess that line makes sense. The Packers are just what are they? How many points have they scored now? They're at 197 points in 6 games.
Yeah. And they took 5.5 really because they didn't care about scoring against the Rams yesterday.
They're plus 83. That's pretty good. The Niners are plus 70.
Yeah.
Yikes! All right, keep going.
Head and turnovers. All right, St. Louis at Dallas.
I'm sorry, buddy.
Yeah. This is it. If we lose this one, you don't hear from me Monday. I strapped a backpack on like Bruce Banner and Incredible Hulk, and I'm gone. No dog. You and Joe Meade next Monday.
I think this settles at 10, but right now it's 9.5 Cowboys.
All right, you're going to get it because I way overestimated here. I said 13, and it's 10.5.
All right. It settles at 10. That's at 10 by Sunday.
Well, I'm telling you now.
Kind of like the Rams.
Close. We better throw downfield. This is the Bears experimented with the Vikings yesterday with the tight ends and everything. We better do the same with the Rams. Better score 40 points. Sunday night, Indy at New Orleans. Now we're tied with 2 games left.
Oh, man. Poor NBC.
Yeah, I know.
Curtis Painter against Breeze.
They get at least one bad quarterback every week.
I had a lot of trouble with this one. Yeah, I'm going to say Saints by 13.
Oh, all right. Well, you got it closer than I did. I said 11, and it's 14.
Whoa.
That Saints team is pissed off. They're not going to screw around, right?
Poor Peyton's going to be on crutches. It's always sad when the coach is on crutches.
Yeah. One Peyton's in a neck brace and one's on crutches. I wonder if they'll do the split screen.
All right, and Monday night.
You have the lead now.
I do.
This is going to be tough. Baltimore, Jacksonville.
Yeah, not that tough because it's going to be Ravens by 8.5.
I needed to win this one. I said 7.5. It's 8. So we both get it. We tie, and you win the week.
All right. First question, who do we tease the Ravens with?
What's that?
Who do we tease the Ravens with?
Well, I like those last 3 games.
Yeah, but 8.5, you take it down to 2.5. Maybe
Green Bay.
We'll figure that out.
Green Bay doesn't lose.
Green Bay down to 3?
Dallas, we'll just do money line parlays. Baltimore, Green Bay, New Orleans.
Falcons getting 10.5 is kind of intriguing.
Oh,
I'm going to
boy.
lose money no matter what happens.
Oh.
Upset special this week?
Well, I was looking at it, and in those early games, it's tough. The Chiefs is a slight upset, but you know what? And it's not even that big. But I'm going to say Arizona over Pittsburgh. They don't play a whole game anymore.
I'm gonna flip my opinion from earlier in the podcast. The more I'm looking at this, and then no jab at best. Falcons plus 4.5 to win that one outright is pretty intriguing.
Yeah, that could be fun. That could be. I'd much rather root for Detroit, but
dome team built for a dome, whole thing. And I guess no offense, but I think the Rams getting. If they were plus 500, it's not inconceivable that they could go into Dallas and win. You guys might not be good. I think you're good, but who knows? You're 2-3.
Of course not. Of course the plus 500 is good against us.
The one thing about that game is if the Rams were up like 13-10 in the fourth quarter, the crowd would just be catatonic.
Yeah.
You've no home field advantage at that point. Everybody would be freaking out.
That's true. I think Bradford's banged up, and for that, and we'll put some pressure on him, and it'll be just enough to win. But I wouldn't give all those points, even though I thought it'd be higher. But let me tell you something.
All right, the cousin. Yeah.
Let me just plug. I'm going to plug myself big time here on the Triangle, my gambling prop blog. Yesterday or whatever over the weekend, I had the Bears as the high scoring team of the week, 30-1 odds. I gave out on your Grantland.com.
Right.
Right, and they won 39 points as the high scoring team for the week. 30-1 odds, the Chicago Bears.
Wow, I didn't realize the odds were that much.
Yeah, you know what I did? This is maybe an interesting thing for us to do. Not that I bet it, of course, but the Bears and the Vikings. I'm like, this is going to be a high scoring game. Let's take both of them to be the high scoring team for the week. The Bears were 30, the Vikings were 40. Devin Hester helped us out. And tonight, Matt Moore will throw an interception before a touchdown. That's a guaranteed prop. It's even odds. Take it.
It sounds delightful.
Yeah. He's got a
plug Jimmy Kimmel Live.
Island. Jimmy Kimmel Live. Well, if you love reruns and Robert De Niro and Aaron Andrews and Julie Bowen and Evangeline Lilly and Mute Math, you'll love Jimmy Kimmel Live this week.
Reruns?
Yeah, we're off this week.
What are you going to do all week?
Nothing. I got the kids are in school. The wife's doing some yard sale for the school. So.
Oh, might have to make you come down.
I will.
To the office. All right, I'll talk to you.
All right,
Good
buddy.
job by you.
Good job, Billy.
All right, and now we're going to go to TV's new hottest star, fresh off his award-winning appearances and Numbers Never Lie, and also from FootballOutsiders.com, our friend Aaron Schatz. What's happening?
Hey, man. Just enjoying the season.
Pretty good season for your little thing you like to call the DVOA.
Yeah, I mean, our preseason projections weren't as quite as spot on as they were last year, although I am kind of proud of that San Francisco will win the NFC West idea.
But you had last week heading into week 6. Your top 4 teams, actually your top 5, Buffalo, San Fran, Green Bay, New England, Baltimore. Vindicated by the Week 6 results.
Yeah, I mean, Buffalo lost, but they lost close.
But they were good. They were in that game, though. I mean,
they were in that game. Buffalo, last week when they played Philly, I was saying all week that the problem wasn't that Philly didn't really have a chance. It was people were really underrating Buffalo and acting like, well, this is just a game the Eagles should expect to win. Whereas I think the proper team to underrate and just expect the Eagles to win was Washington, not Buffalo, which is better than people thought. And Buffalo is still a pretty good team, even at 4-2.
I looked at your ratings because I like the Giants, and I looked and I saw you had Buffalo first and San Fran second. And I was thinking to myself, I either go with these stats and I take those 2 teams, or I tell myself that it's too early to figure out where the rankings go. And I ended up, of course, going the other way and losing both picks. And now it feels like, I think the one thing you guys do with the DVOA, the special teams rank. Like San Fran going into this week was 2.
Yep.
And now
and then one coming out of this week.
Game. Yeah, they had another great game. Really the best special teams, even better than the Bears, I feel like, right?
Yeah, well, because more all-around rounded than the Bears. In other words, it's not just returns. They have a great punter.
Yep.
Although the Bears also have pretty good punts this year. I mean, they're both pretty good this year. The Bears are second. So it's not like, they're not having a great year on special teams.
Did Andy Lee grab the torch from Leckler, or am I crazy?
So far, but Lee's kind of been sharing the torch for a while. He's been a monster on punter for a few years now.
Yeah.
Not quite as monster as Leckler, but he's been near the top of our ratings pretty much every year.
This Niners team does have that feel. All the components are there. Easy division, the really good special teams, ground control game, good defense. Like, we've seen this type of team overachieve before. Could you see them getting to 13-3?
It's not that ridiculous, but I'll tell you how I kind of see them, and not to say mean things to anybody I know in San Francisco. I see them as a team somewhat similar to, like, the 2001 Bears.
Oh.
The team that really surprises everybody through the season with defense and special teams, and but you're not so sure about the quarterback, and then they go to the playoffs and they get a bye and they host the game in the second week and they lose.
I thought you were going 2006 Bears, but the Bears, they actually won a playoff game. So you're thinking bye week, then a loss.
Last year's Falcons aren't quite the same because they weren't a defense first team, but every year it seems like there's one team that really surprises and shocks everyone into getting the bye week and then disappoints in that first week. And I don't know, San Francisco kind of feels like that to me just because there's still questions about the quarterback, but you got to admit the guy's playing amazingly efficient. So, I mean, the numbers don't really back up my questions. They're an average offense, and that's all you need when you have a defense and special teams that good.
Yeah, yesterday, Sal and I talked about it. When they fell behind 10-0, it seemed like the game, like, all right, well, here you go. Here's where Alex Smith kills them. And somehow they've been able to put him in that, I know you hate this phrase, game manager, but he's been the game manager.
No, I don't hate it. This is a situation where it's a pretty apt description of what he's doing.
Yeah.
They don't have a passing game that blows you off blows the doors out the building. And in part because they're missing two of their three best wide receivers, one of whom they're not getting back. But he does do enough, lots of throws to tight ends, lots of underneath stuff. He does enough, doesn't turn the ball over this year. I mean, he's not going to have only one or two picks all season. He's going to start throwing some interceptions at some point, but he could easily have only 6 or 7. He does manage the game. They are going to be number 1 this week.
Ooh.
I know that's kind of mind-blowing, but they are actually going to be number 1 because Green Bay's had such an easy schedule that it knocks them from being number 1. Otherwise, Green Bay would be number 1.
Do you feel like San Fran and Baltimore are doppelgangers to some degree?
No, because Baltimore, first of all, Baltimore's quarterback is much more risk-reward.
Yep.
And second, their special teams haven't been that good, and their defense has been insane. Their defensive rating, not counting Monday Night Football, is 29.2 below 0. San Fran, which is second, is 11. That's a huge gap. That gap is basically as big as the difference between second place San Fran and like 20th place.
Right. And now
Baltimore's defense has been killer this year.
And we have enough data now, I feel like. Like 6 games is a fairly decent sample size.
Yeah, I mean it's not perfect, but it's enough it's enough plays to take seriously that at this point it's hard to say that good teams are flukes and it's hard to say that bad teams are flukes. Sometimes a team will turn it around at midseason, but you have to respect what San Francisco's done. You have to respect what Buffalo has done, Oakland. You have to respect that, Philly's not quite as good as we thought, and so forth.
And maybe Cincinnati's like just a wee bit better than we thought.
Yeah, although we only have Cincinnati. We have Cincinnati 11th right now, so they're not quite in the same place as some of the 4-2 teams.
But I don't think anyone
Dalton is certainly playing well.
Yes. Yes.
And they're playing well on defense.
And it's possible maybe just all of those quarterbacks were good in that draft last year. You feel like there's going to be some stinkers, and maybe just it was a really good draft.
Well, the funny thing is, Dalton is the one that our projection system liked the most. And Newton is the one that projects the system like the least, because of any, just because of a lack of experience, really.
Yeah.
And of course, they've both been really good. Newton's been, far better than anybody could have ever expected. Who knows? We still haven't seen Locker. We still haven't seen Ponder. We still haven't seen Kaepernick.
Yeah. Statistically, what's jumped out at you?
Well, other than passing games being insane.
Yeah.
There's no really dominant team this year. Again, sorry, Packers fans, to disappoint you by not saying your team is dominant despite being undefeated. We have no team above 30% in DVOA. That would make this the first year that there was no team through 6 weeks above 30%.
Really?
So everything is pretty tight together.
Would you say, because part of it seems like you can have a one-sided team this year and it's not a disaster. Like Buffalo has a really good offense and a bad defense.
There's no team right now that's really balanced. Even Green Bay is 19th in our defensive ratings.
Yeah.
21st on special teams. The closest you have to a balanced team is the Giants, who are 7th in offense and 8th in defense.
Oh.
But San Francisco and Baltimore are all defense. Green Bay, Buffalo, New England New England is all offense. Buffalo and Green Bay are mostly all offense.
Would you rather have all offense? I'd rather have all offense than all defense.
Well, their offense is the best. The Patriots' offense is best in the league.
Right.
My feeling is I'd rather have a balanced team. There just really aren't many this year. But the Patriots' offense is good enough to overcome their defense. And right now the Baltimore defense is good enough to overcome their offense.
It feels like Pittsburgh should get there as the most balanced team, but it just hasn't happened yet. And then yesterday they're up 17-0, and they basically turtle the lead, and they almost,
to a lousy Jacksonville team.
Yeah.
With lousy quarterbacking. The two worst quarterbacks of the year by our numbers are Luke McCown and Blaine Gabbert.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought Gabbert had a little gumption yesterday.
The performance isn't quite. Maybe yesterday was his best day of the year, but he hasn't been very good. Pittsburgh's balanced. We have them at 9th in offense and 9th in defense.
Yeah. I like to give
they just haven't been. That first game was so bad. They're still kind of working that out of their system when it comes to statistical analysis.
I like to give you weird little projects from time to time, and most of the time there's no answer.
All right.
I wonder if there's a way statistically to figure out if you can quantify, because every year it seems like a new coach comes in, and he has mostly the same guys that the previous year's incompetent coach had. And they have this dramatic difference and momentum, all that stuff, and somehow that just changing coaches is worth 5 wins.
Right.
Is there a way to quantify that?
How do you figure out which coach that's going to be?
Right.
Because wouldn't a lot of people have thought, if you didn't look at the rosters and you only looked at the coaches, a lot of people probably would have thought Leslie Frazier replacing Brad Childress.
Right. Or even Jason Garrett replacing Wade Phillips and having a full year. I think Munchak was a possibility because the Titans had quit on Fisher. I wonder how we calculate why it was Jim Harbaugh that became the guy that.
That's one of the things that's hard to figure out. Why? There was talent on that team, but certainly not. You didn't think there was the talent as far as they played this year. It's a combination of things. Navarro Bowman, who's a guy who hadn't played that much, has been very good. Aldon Smith, who's a rookie, has been very good.
Yep.
Offensive line has had a little bit of time to gel, although they do have a new center. But the 2 first-rounders who struggled as rookies aren't struggling as much in their second year. It's really a combination, Alex Smith playing better, which, as I pointed out in an article on Insider last week, Alex Smith actually started playing better in the middle of last year. It's not necessarily all Jim Harbaugh's doing. He actually only threw 1 pick through his last 6 starts of 2010.
Well, maybe the answer lies in special teams, because last year I'm looking at your final 2010 DVOA ratings. The Niners were 23rd in special teams last year.
Although I bet their punting was still high.
Right, but the return game, maybe.
The tough thing is special teams are the hardest. They are the most inconsistent thing in football. So there's really no way to predict that they're going to play really well like San Francisco has this year.
Hold on, let's get super dorky. So you're saying special teams is like the BABIP or FIP of football?
Well, not necessarily, because there isn't as much underlying ability. You know how BABIP, you have the underlying ability of strikeouts, walks, and home runs, and then you have the batting average on balls in play that sort of creates a little bit of a shield over the sort of intrinsically important stats to sort of confuse you by a guy who has gives up lots of home runs but has really good BABIP, or doesn't give up a lot of home runs but doesn't have a good BABIP. I think the closest thing to that in football would probably be turnovers, especially fumble recovery.
Is there anybody had just a crazy turnover luck this year so far, other than Buffalo?
I'm trying to see. I don't have that. Only have it through week 5 that I run the fumbles thing. I mean, interceptions regress towards the mean, although there is some skill there. So they're not entirely luck, whether you throw interceptions or not.
Yeah.
But certainly, you've seen this year, for example, Tom Brady had insanely good at avoiding interceptions last year. Hasn't been this year. Alex Smith is not, like I said, is not going to continue. He's not going to have only 2 interceptions this year or whatever. As far as through week 5 at least, Chicago had recovered 83% of fumbles in its games, while Pittsburgh Pittsburgh fumbled 6 times on offense, not including this week, and had not recovered a single one of them.
Who's our Rabbit team this year?
Rabbit team in what way?
Started out 4-2, 5-1, or 6-0, and finishes under 500.
Looking at our stats, I'd lean towards Washington.
What are they?
I mean, nobody ever believes in the quarterbacks. They're a mediocre team with a good pass rush.
There's no chance Detroit's the Rabbit, is there?
No. I mean, they're not as good as their record. We only have them 14th right now because they've had the close wins.
Yeah.
But I think that they're a strong enough defense that they're not going to suddenly fall down the stretch. They're not playing well on special teams. And the offense has been surprisingly mediocre. They don't really have a running game. And they don't get that much value out of passes to guys other than Calvin Johnson.
Sal and I talked about that. They don't have that 3rd and 7 guy that they could just go to for the guaranteed first down.
Right. Burleson's not that guy. Titus Young's not that guy. Even Pettigrew's not really that guy. They need a Wes Welker type.
It does seem like 3rd and 7, 3rd and 8, 3rd and 9. They don't have a lot of answers. But if it's a situation, which we've already seen twice this year, when they're behind and they're slinging it every down, it seems like they're almost better off. Their schedule, though, I mean, it really doesn't get – It
gets harder.
Tough games. It gets harder, but it's not – you can't look at it and go, wow, they're about to get screwed. On the flip side,
Washington,
schedule,
Washington, by our numbers, has had the 2nd easiest schedule in the league so far.
Ooh.
And it's 8th for the rest of the way. Although that's not as bad as the Giants. The Giants are dead last in schedule strength so far and number 1 in schedule strength the rest of the way.
Wow. So
because they've already played the 3 NFC West teams that are not San Francisco.
Oh yeah, so they got their bye week home for Miami, and then they have at New England, at San Fran, Philly, at New Orleans, Green Bay, at Dallas. Oof. That's brutal. I wonder if 9 wins
pretty hard.
Could 9 wins win the NFC East this year?
Yeah, it's not the best division this year. You have 3 teams with serious strengths and serious flaws, and then the Washington, who I think is a mediocre team with a good pass rush. Although I think after yesterday we can say they're a mediocre team with a good pass rush and bad quarterback.
The NFC East as a whole, their point differential is plus 14. Everybody thought that was going to be the best division. Meanwhile, the NFC North, plus 83 for Green Bay, plus 64 for Detroit, plus 14 for Chicago, minus 24 for Minnesota.
Right, which, by the way, was positive before last night for Minnesota.
Right. So it looks like, hey, Buffalo, we talked about this earlier. They can get to 10 wins pretty easily here, and it feels like 10 wins is almost guaranteed to be an AFC playoff spot.
Yeah, I think the hardest thing. Well, I'm not sure about that because there are so many teams with winning records in the AFC.
But you don't think Oakland's getting to 10 wins?
You do think they are?
I don't.
Oh,
not
you
after
don't?
the
Yeah,
quarterback.
well, now with the quarterback situation, especially. I mean, I was wrong about Oakland before the season. I thought they'd be lousy in part because of lack of experience on the offensive line. They've been really good, but now with the quarterback questioning, who knows what's going to happen there? I mean, it can't be as good as it's been, especially if Kyle Bowler is their quarterback.
Right. And the Bengals can't get to 10 wins.
I think there's only one team coming out of the AFC West.
Yeah.
And I think there's only one team coming out of the AFC South.
So you agree with me?
So I'm guessing that it comes, and no disrespect to Cincinnati, I'm guessing that it comes down to the Jets, the Patriots, and whoever loses. The Jets, Patriots, Bills, two of those teams, and one team between Baltimore and Pittsburgh.
And I would say Buffalo.
Three teams fighting for two playoff spots, two wildcard spots.
Buffalo has a much better chance of getting to 10 wins than the Jets. And I think
because of what they've done so far, the Jets on a play-by-play basis haven't been much worse than Buffalo so far. But just the way that the things have fallen for them, that they're 2-3.
So you think that's a sleeper potentially coming? Because we always have one team that starts out
That's absolutely
slow.
the sleeper team with a losing record right now that could roar back to life. Oh yeah. Even if they win tonight, they're 3-3. They're the sleeper team that's either 500 or has a losing record that could roar back to life.
I'm looking at their schedule here. So
their schedule's not easy, but they're just very good. I mean, they're still a great defense, and they have great special teams.
The next three will tell them, because they got after tonight they got home for San Diego, bye at Buffalo, home for New England. They probably have to go 3-1 over these next four. I feel like.
Right. Well, also it helps to have the wins in the division and the wins in the conference by beating San Diego will help with the wild card. They definitely need to beat Buffalo if they want to be a playoff team. It would be difficult for them to make the playoffs without beating Buffalo both times.
They have at Miami in Week 17, which could be one of the first thrown games in NFL history. I wonder there's probably no way to look this up. I can't remember the last time teams tanked down the stretch in the NFL, but it's got to happen this year. I can't imagine, and it's not like they're going to intentionally lose, but you can put your players in the situation to be terrible. You can
that's one of the things is I know that players have been asked about this and have said, are you kidding? We're never going to do that. We're not going to intentionally lose. Well, of course players are not going to, because as far as they know, you could play for a team that wants to get Andrew Luck. By the time Andrew Luck matures to become a superstar, you're off the team. So what do you care?
Doesn't help Tim Tebow. Yeah.
What?
But Denver is in this whole mix, and Tim Tebow's not going to be throwing games, so he's going to want to win.
But even if you're Jeremiah Bell or Cameron Wake for Miami, you're not going to not sack the quarterback because you want a chance to get Andrew Luck. By the time Andrew Luck is a superstar in 3 years, you're playing for Houston or something,
The
You're playing for the LA Jaguars.
The training staff is going to be the one that needs to go aboard, because those are the guys that have to say, hey, Cameron Wake, we're
Cameron's
a little worried about your knee tendonitis.
For the last 3 weeks.
I keep hearing this rattle in your knee, so we're going to sit you out for this one. Just want to be safe, get ready for next year. I think that's what happens in basketball. That's how
grass in your visor.
Right. They
like
have
Michael Vick yesterday. You have grass in your visor.
Well, that sure felt like a concussion, or concussion-like something.
I think my guess is I will assume the best from them. I will assume what they thought was that it might be a concussion, and they had to pull him out to test him, and then they found out it wasn't, and they could put him back in.
Last question, then we'll let you go. I wrote 2 Fridays ago about how I felt like the passing numbers were just going to continue to be incredible because it's so much easier now to send guys over the middle because they're not going to get beheaded. Do you feel like the numbers that you're seeing is backing that up?
I have not looked specifically at passes over the middle versus other passes, but you can definitely see where tight end passing is the highest it's ever been.
Feels like
it. And, wait, what?
It definitely feels like it. And to me, it's like when you play video games and you know, that's you always send guys over the middle because you don't care if they get hurt.
Not in Madden 12, the way those middle linebackers can jump 10 feet tall.
Yeah, they get knocked out. But, you always send tight ends and wide receivers over the middle, and real NFL teams never did this because those guys would get demolished, and now they don't.
I would think subjectively that your theory makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. It just feels like
I think what we're seeing now
different.
is a combination of two things. The one is the rules, like the legal contact change in 2004, and then like what you're saying about the difficulty of hitting guys going over the middle and your fear that, if you change your angle by 1 degree, you're suddenly going to knock a guy in the helmet.
Well, don't leave out quarterbacks because they've changed the rules
and
in that too. Those guys are
combined with
now.
Just really well-designed offenses. I think we are in a golden era for design of offenses. Because the way teams have gone to more shotgun, the way they're using short passes to gain yardage in a way that's never really been done before, I think it's a combination of the two things. It's not just the rules. We really are in a great age of offensive design. And some defensive coach out there has to figure out what the magic scheme is that's going to help stop some of this stuff.
And that's where I think Detroit's in trouble because it's such an advantage to have guys go over the middle and really they just have Pettigrew. But whereas like you see a team like Buffalo, who doesn't seem like it should be that dominant offensively, and yet, when you can throw in the running game too, and then you can throw deep and you can throw over the middle, like
David Nelson
field.
Is very good. He's a very good type of guy like that.
Is he? Where did he come from?
I think he's Florida, but he was undrafted.
Wow.
It's amazing the way guys are undrafted. Some of us were saying after the draft, gee, no one took Dane Sossenbacher. Now you're like, how on earth did nobody take Dane Sossenbacher?
Well, what about...
There still seems to be, not enough emphasis put on those guys who go over the middle for possession in the draft. Those guys are still going undrafted. How on earth did Sossenbacher go undrafted?
How about Doug Baldwin?
Well, how on earth did Doug Baldwin go undrafted?
Well, how about this? His college coach was Jim Harbaugh. How does Jim Harbaugh not know that guy's good?
Right.
Kind of weird.
And how did David Nelson 2 years ago not... it's I don't know if Baldwin's not quite the go over the middle type guy Sossenbacher is. He's had some deeper ones too, right?
Well, I just thought it was weird that
his college coach didn't draft him, and here he is, a big NFL success.
Yeah, you'd think.
But,
all right, so numbers never lie.
Numbers never lie. I'm actually doing 3 days this week.
Yeah, shots. I like when you're on.
Thank you.
The level of disdain that you have for some of the comments is some of my favorite TV right now. You can't hide it. It's not in you. You're not going to play the game.
I need to smile a little more, but
No. Don't change the thing. Don't change the thing. It's a good show. I like it. I always learn stuff from it.
Well, I'm glad you're digging it, and I'm happy to be on. It's exciting for me and my first big regular television opportunity. But yeah, I'm doing Tuesday through Thursday this week, sort of special.
Yeah. All right. Good. It's a worthy watch.
3:30 ESPN2. People should check it out.
And we will see you on FootballOutsiders.com with the new DVOA ratings with our new number one, the San Francisco 49ers.
Yep.
Talk to you soon.
Talk to you later, man.
Target to sign off. Whoa.
Thank you for downloading the BS Report with Bill Simmons.
Too much fun.
Check out more podcasts at the iTunes Music Store or at Pod Center at ESPNradio.com.
Peace out.